Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for joining me today, and thank you all for being here for this next conversation as well. Global trade is being reshaped by a number of factors right now. Two twin geopolitical shocks, including what we've just seen unfold in Iran and Venezuela, but also importantly, what's happening right now here in the UAE with these historic agreements being signed with Nigeria and the Philippines. So His Excellency is going to weigh in on all of these issues. Your Excellency, let's begin with Iran specifically. We've just seen President Trump announcing this 25% tariff on countries that do business with Iran. The UAE is Iran's second largest trading partner after China. What's the government's response to this?
Well, Don, it's a real pleasure to be here with you, and thank you so much for having me. Everyone woke up today with the announcements by President Trump on the 25% additional duties on anyone or any nation that is going to deal with Iran. The details of the announcement still not clear, which we're trying to explore and to investigate further on the how this is going to be implemented. As you said, with the second largest trading partner with Iran, and they're one of the main provider and supplier for many of our commodities, especially when it comes to food products. And we have to as well evaluate what are the consequences of disturbing the supply of many of the products and commodities that comes from Iran. Now, there's no clarity, but if we're going to see the pros and cons from both actions that could be taken by any nation, not only by UAE, but also we have to see that is this going to affect the supply of the food products or some of the products that comes from Iran? Is this going to affect the prices and the consumer availability and how much they're paying to have the alternative? Third one, how that is going to affect the soft power that we're having with Iran, because Iran is our neighbor, and we have to make sure that as well we're providing the right commodities to their people. The fourth one, which is an important one as well, the trade balance between us and Iran is in for our favor. But when we look at it from the trade balance with the US, it is for their own favor. And the main products that goes and we export to the US is the aluminum and the gold. Aluminum is already having 50% tariff, which he has applied through the 232. So we're still doing the analysis. The decision has not been taken, but that is going to have an impact for sure the minute that we have the details of the announcements of President Trump.
And as you say, those details are still emerging, but will the UAE ultimately follow what President Trump decides?
I'm sure the businesses are going to do their own analysis as well, and they're going to follow whatever is less risky for their own businesses. But we as a government, we will make sure that we understand the details. We ensure that there is alternatives if the decision is going to be taken, and regardless the business and the companies continuing or not continuing, we have to make sure that the availability and affordability of those commodities in our market.
The other early trade shock we've seen this year has been in Venezuela, the fall of the Maduro regime. Of course, the UAE has a bilateral investment treaty with Venezuela. You actually traveled to Caracas to sign it yourself personally with the former president. What is your reaction to the fall of Maduro, and how is this going to impact the UAE's trading relationship across Latin America?
The relationship with South America is growing, and we're having an excellent engagements with the majority of countries, and even with those countries which we started our diplomatic relation with, things are growing. You will see some of the deals signed this week with Bolivia and with some other countries. We started the engagements 2 years ago with Colombia, Costa Rica. We signed with Chile. We're about to conclude with Mercosur, and we're negotiating with both Ecuador and Peru, which is almost in the final stages as well. And we're renegotiating as well. We're re-exploring the negotiation with Mexico, which is going to be kicked off very soon. The relation with Venezuela is good. We've been in exploratory visits 2 years ago. The country has a huge potential. The country is a virgin. Many American companies, for many of the audience who are not aware of this, are already in the Venezuelan market after getting the whole clearance from the US Congress special committees. So the American companies are already there, and we're seeing a huge potential. There is a huge opportunities, and the country is full and rich with many of the resources, which is going to be as well an opportunity for many of the international nations. How this is going to affect our businesses? It's business as usual. We're going to continue. Diversity is our keyword in our relation with South America. We're going to continue as well now with the changes. For sure, we do have an excellent relation with the interim president, who used to be the vice president, and she visited us a couple of times. So we'll continue the engagements and see what we can do with the country.
We're only a couple of weeks into 2026. Are you surprised at how fast things seems to be moving right now?
Well, last year was a very disruptive year, and it went very fast. And we started this year with many of the international incidents and many of the events. We're living in an era where those shocking events are happening, and we have to be ready, and we have to be agile and resilient for those changes. That's why the key word here is to ensure that we're open for trade, we're open for investments, we're open to attract talents, and we're open to apply and bring innovation and technology to the country and globally.
That's also being reflected in some of the efforts that the UAE has been making on the trade front. We've just seen these historic agreements being signed with the Philippines and Nigeria today. Quantify the economic impact for me for both, starting with the Philippines.
Before I dig deep in those two agreements, which was signed early this morning, until the end of 2025, we signed 26 agreements. We concluded 33, which today was signed of them. The impact is amazing, and the numbers of our non-oil trade until the end of October exceeded the numbers of 2024. And so we're expecting growth around 24 to 25% when we announce the full year numbers in a month and a half from now. So the numbers are amazing. The growth is almost 25%. That's much higher than the global growth, which is around 7%. Now, coming back to the agreements, we're seeing a good growth. Our exports to the CEPA nations are growing, and many of our industry and manufacturers are benefiting from the agreements. We're seeing even attraction of more investments coming to the country so they can penetrate those markets which we're providing. Now we're adding two an excellent agreements. One of them was with Nigeria. Nigeria is the largest populous nation in Africa, and that's going to give us a huge market access. Plus, many countries are going to follow Nigeria because they were waiting the Nigerian steps, and I'm sure their nations or neighbors are going to follow the steps, and that's going to give us even more opportunity. The good thing about Nigeria agreements is going to have an excellent impact in our GDP, which is around 1.5 to 1.6% in our GDP by 2033, and around the same or around 1.9% in the Nigerian GDP. Export is going to be high. Philippine agreement is going to have an impact of 0.6% in our GDP by 2032, and a good impact, which is around 0.9% to their GDP by 2032. So and all of those are modeling, and it's not taking consideration the high value, the numbers, the value of different commodities which we're seeing, and I'm sure the impact is going to be much higher.
It's so interesting to look at the economic translation of these agreements as well, because this also comes at a time when we see many countries around the world lifting up trade barriers to protect their own industries. Your Excellency, what would you say is the biggest risk or challenge for global trade in 2026?
Supply chain. Supply chain is the main issue, because now if we don't ensure that there is a proper and alternate supply chain for the commodity, is going to be an issue. And what has been done globally, especially in the US after the tariff measures that has been taken in the US, is usages of the digitalization. And that's why we're going to be announcing soon, in a few days, the digitalization of Ministry of Foreign Trade, which is going to be a big partnership with BRI sites to take the ministry to the next level, and it's going to be a global benchmark in applying to technology so we can ensure the supply chain is resilient and we can bring the commodities from any countries around the world easily by using the technology. And we're going to evaluate as well the consequences of such policies on the UAE's trade and economy immediately because of the predictability and analytics of the AI.
Your Excellency, I promised our organizers that I would keep us on time, so I'm going to honor that promise. It's been a privilege to speak with you today. Thank you so much for joining us here at the summit.
Thank you, Don.